Blake Lively has told People that there were multiple reasons that Justin Baldoni made her feel uncomfortable. It's a feminist buzzword. Uncomfortable on set. Blake beefing with her co-stars is a very common thing. And this is it. It's whiny, it's bratty, and it needs to end. Well, if it isn't the consequence.
Blake Lively has spent years crafting the ideal image America's sweetheart, the flawless wife, and the devoted mom. But ever since the Blake Lively scandal broke a few months ago, Candace Owens has been on a mission, digging deep into every corner to uncover the truth.
I've seen a case so open and shut in my life, and the more that I read and the more details that I get into, because I've been working on my timeline, I'm just shocked at how many lies were.
And now that Candace Owens has the receipts to back up her investigation, Blake Lively is feeling the heat. The curtain has been pulled back, and what Candace just revealed could shake everything to its core. Stick around, because we're about to break it all down, and trust me, you don't want to miss this. Blake Lively has long been the darling of Hollywood, elegant, charming, and seemingly untouchable. But Candace Owens just cracked open a story that could change everything. While the public was still trying to piece together the rumors, Candace uncovered something much more calculated. Before the drama even hit the New York Times, Blake was already making moves behind the scenes.
Cracked the mystery, or at least we established a very crucial part of the puzzle, which I am told by Taylor Swift's team, or I guess not by her team, but like Taylor Swift's team tried to bury what I'm about to show you.
Contrary to the official story they tried to sell, Blake wasn't just reacting to being disrespected, she was playing the long game from the start. Her target? None other than Justin Baldoni. Candace Owens meticulously pieced together the timeline, and now that the full picture is finally out, there's no escaping the truth.
There is proof that the New York Times began working on the article even earlier, potentially back in October of 2024.
Blake thought she had the upper hand, but this time, the receipts tell a completely different story. Now, she's in full-blown panic mode. Blake's team is scrambling to flip the narrative. They don't want the public focusing on her power plays, the shady backdoor deals, or how she weaseled her way into Justin Baldoni's project. Instead, they're desperately trying to make people feel sorry for her.
Lively's PR team wants us to know that everything that's happening right now is hurting Blake's feelings. And I don't know if you guys have paused to consider that Blake's feelings might be getting hurt in all of this. Well, if it isn't the consequences of my...
If this isn't full-on Nepo diva behavior, I don't know what is. Blake has lived the Hollywood dream her entire life, wrapped in privilege, shielded by PR, and protected from any real consequences. But now, that safety net is gone. No one's swooning over her romance with Ryan Reynolds anymore. No one's idealizing her perfectly crafted love story. Let's be real, that's its own Pandora's box. Instead, people are finally seeing her for what she's been all along, without that glossy Nepo buffer.
Causing her and Ryan Reynolds severe anguish. They are anguished by the things that they did being found out by the public.
In that article, and just to be clear, this isn't the type of behavior you exhibit unless you've had life handed to you on a silver platter. Blake's used to get exactly what she wants, and when things don't go her way, well, here comes the whining. Old habits die hard. Candace might be speculating, but let's be real, it's less of a shot in the dark and more of a well-informed conclusion. The way this whole thing was orchestrated wasn't some random accident. It was so meticulously planned that, had it succeeded, Justin Baldoni's career, reputation, and name would have been completely destroyed.
I think that it was just a perfect act of evil that was almost executed in broad daylight, almost like...
They've danced to this same tune before, showing off the perfect couple act in public while making some of the most calculated, ruthless moves behind closed doors. This isn't just about one bad choice, it's about a history of behavior that's been hiding in plain sight, all wrapped up in their happy family persona. They've bullied others before, but nobody spoke out. Why? Because their PR machine is that strong. But now, the cracks are starting to show, and Candace Owens just threw a spotlight on all of it. And as for Ryan, here's what he said about Justin during the Deadpool Wolverine afterparty.
Wayfair was informed that Reynolds approached a senior executive at WME and expressed his deep disdain for Baldoni, going as far as to suggest that the agency is working with a predator.
This has Nepo written all over it, and I'm sure many of you would agree. While Ryan and Blake were busy pulling their usual moves behind the scenes, Candace Owens revealed that this time they went too far, too bold, too desperate.
Now let's talk about Justin Baldoni's PR specialist, Jed Wallace. His firm, Street Relations Inc., is suing Blake Lively for defamation after she claimed Wallace and his company.
There's no denying it. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are running out of options. The countdown is on, and now, all we can do is sit back and watch them devour the humble pie they've been serving everyone else for years.
This is now the 5th lawsuit associated with Blake versus Baldoni, and we're exhausted by it. Now, based on Justin's recent release of documents, an expert I spoke to says Blake will...
This whole saga kicked off when a video surfaced showing Blake Lively being less than friendly to multiple people, interviewers, colleagues, even fans. Instead of owning up to it, she did what many Hollywood elites do when they're cornered. She flipped the script and created a new narrative. Blake needed a distraction, and unfortunately for Justin Baldoni, he became the perfect scapegoat. She accused him of masterminding an elaborate PR campaign against her, throwing out wild allegations to divert attention from her own actions.
Original filing, which was with the Californian Civil Rights Department, that complaint was supposed to be the only filing. It was the ultimate bad PR response to what they wrongly assumed.
This wasn't just another Hollywood feud, it was something far more destructive. People might have let her mean girl moment slide, or moved past those exposed clips, but fabricating accusations that undermine real victims. That's something no one can overlook. They dragged Justin's name into this mess, not because he was guilty, but because they needed a fall guy. And the worst part? They did it all in plain sight. That civil complaint was so exaggerated, so overblown, yet they thought no one would catch on. But people did notice.
To be able to file that, take it to the New York Times, get them to take down Justin Baldoni, and who knows, like, it would have maybe been like, okay, we're going to resolve this in the background.
Now, it's not just about losing the PR battle, they're being sued for it. The situation has escalated even further, with Blake's legal war against Baldoni taking a new turn. Crisis management expert Jed Wallace, the owner of the PR firm Street Relations, has officially filed a lawsuit for defamation. On February 4th, Wallace took Blake to Texas federal court, seeking $7 million in damages. Why? Blake dragged his name into her case against Baldoni, accusing him of fabricating social media content to make her look bad. But Wallace isn't playing along with Hollywood games. He's fighting back, demanding a court order to clear his name and prove that he had no involvement in the mess Blake's trying to pin on him. To give full context, here's what Blake said about Jed in her complaint.
Retained subcontractors, including a Texas-based contractor named Jed Wallace, who weaponized a digital army around the country from New York to LA to create, seed, and promote content that appeared to be authentic on social media platforms and internet chat forums. The Baldoni Wayfarer team would then feed pieces of this manufactured.
So now Blake isn't just facing off with Baldoni, she's up against real legal consequences. And from the looks of it, she doesn't have an escape route. But wait, when fans started calling Blake out for her non-serious approach to the civil complaint, she was forced to escalate and file a full-blown lawsuit. But here's the twist, when she did, Jed Wallace's name was nowhere to be found. It was as if she had magically erased him from the narrative overnight, hoping no one would catch on. But the damage was already done. Her correction came way too late, and Wallace's reputation had already been dragged through the mud. Now, he's making sure she pays for it. Wallace's current lawsuit states that Lively later admitted she had no facts to support the allegations against him or his company, Street. Neither Wallace nor Street had anything to do with the alleged harassment, retaliation, or any of the other claims Lively made. They couldn't have breached a contract with her because no such contract ever existed. In response, Blake's lawyer, Michael Gottl, didn't waste any time firing back at Wallace's lawsuit. He downplayed the entire situation, brushing off Wallace's claims as baseless. Another day, another state, another 9-figure lawsuit, seeking to sue Miss Lively into oblivion for speaking out against harassment and retaliation, Gottlieb's legal team stated in a statement to The Hollywood Reporter. This is not just a publicity stunt. It is a transparent retaliation in response to allegations Miss Lively filed with the California Civil Rights Department. While this lawsuit will be dismissed, We're pleased that Mr. Wallace has finally emerged from the shadows and will be held accountable in federal court. But let's be real, if there were no grounds for Wallace's case, why was Blake so quick to erase his name from her own lawsuit? It's giving serious damage control, and not the good kind. Oh, so now it all makes sense. At first, people thought Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool scene was just another random joke, right? But thanks to Candace Owens pulling out the receipts, it turns out mocking Justin Baldoni wasn't just a joke, it was part of the whole mess. This wasn't some spontaneous improv moment, it was a well-thought-out plan. Blake and Ryan have been working tirelessly behind the scenes to turn Justin into a laughingstock, believing they could do it without anyone catching on. But let's pause and talk about the timing for a second. Just days ago, they were trying to gaslight the public into thinking Justin Baldoni was the mastermind behind a massive PR campaign against Blake. And now suddenly, Ryan is sneaking in jabs at him in a multi-million-dollar film? That's no coincidence. It's giving desperation. It's giving damage control. It's saying, we tried to ruin him quietly, but now that people are catching on, let's just mock him publicly instead. Here's the kicker, Blake Lively couldn't even bring herself to say Justin's name once in any of her interviews. Not a single mention. It's like she was playing the Hollywood version of, if we don't talk about him, maybe he'll disappear. Meanwhile, Justin's out here giving Blake the credit she deserves, and more. That right there? That's next-level bullying. They didn't just push him out of the way, they tried to erase him completely. And that's exactly why this whole situation is backfiring on them. Blake thought she could divert attention from her own mess by dragging Justin into a legal battle, but now the internet is dissecting every move she and Ryan make. They're running out of places to hide. After everything that went down, Justin Baldoni still had the grace to say this about working with Blake E. So let's break it down. Ryan and Blake orchestrated this entire game, pushing Justin Baldoni to the edge, even threatening to stage a boycott unless he stayed hidden away like some Hollywood outcast. And now that their scheme has been exposed, they're begging for people to show respect for their anguish. Please, it's a straight-up delusion. Honestly, their real concern isn't the public scrutiny, it's that the dragon they've been hiding behind, aka Taylor Swift, has turned her back on them. Yep, according to Candace, Taylor isn't here to protect Blake anymore. Instead, she's in full damage control mode, trying to reshape her own public image. And what better way to do that than by throwing Blake under the bus? Interview 1423. Think about it, when you're already painted as the villain, the easiest way to flip the narrative is to create an even bigger villain for everyone to focus on. And who better than Blake Lively? But here's where it gets even juicier. Remember that whole Game of Thrones reference Blake made? Yeah, she literally texts Justin after their meeting, calling herself Khaleesi and referring to Taylor and Ryan as her protective dragons. Sources claim Taylor now believes Blake purposely timed her meeting with Justin so that Taylor would arrive right before he left, and she's baffled by Blake calling her a dragon. But Taylor's catching on. Blake has been abusing their friendship for years. Reports reveal that Blake has been name-dropping Taylor all over town, even telling a young actress that Taylor personally cast her in a film. Spoiler alert, that never happened. The actress, Isabel Ferreira, spoke out about how she actually got the role. Now, Blake's feeling the heat, but let's be real, she's learning the hard way that there are consequences to her actions. And guess what? TMZ sources are hinting that Blake and Taylor supposedly hugged it out. Yeah, that sounds more like a PR cleanup than a genuine reconciliation. Taylor's still undecided on whether to completely distance herself from Blake or keep pretending everything's fine. But hey, in Hollywood, you always prepare for the future. Enter Candace, who's catching these celebrities in yet another lie. While Taylor's scrambling to distance herself from this mess, Candace's sources reveal she wasn't just a bystander in this drama, she was knee-deep in it before it ever hit the media. And to top it off, the proof? Taylor's song was featured in Justin's movie long before all of this even made headlines. The entire disaster unfolded, and it turns out that Taylor Swift's song was featured in Justin Baldoni's movie. But here's where it gets even messier. The allegation is that to feature her song, someone got fired. Taylor's curiously silent on that one, isn't she? Oh, and did I mention that she didn't exactly hit it off with Brian Tyler during a meeting at Blake's New York City penthouse? Ryan Reynolds and a mystery mega celebrity friend, let's be real, it's probably Taylor, were there praising Blake's version of a key scene in the script. So before this whole scandal even began, Taylor was right in the middle of these discussions. What we do know is that she's not being completely honest about what happened later. As the meeting ended and with Taylor there, a famous close friend of Ryan and Blake walked into the room, also praising Blake's script. Justin's own message backs up what Bon was saying. "I didn't need that to happen," he said. "I thought you were fine already." If Taylor had said nothing, she would have responded, "What are you talking about? She was just coming into the house." So, why is Blake the one panicking if Taylor's shifting the blame? Who do you think put Blake in this mega-star position in the first place? If Taylor's name gets dragged through the mud, Blake would be dropped so fast she wouldn't even have time to blink. That's exactly why, even though Taylor's pinned everything on Blake, she hasn't made a single sound. Now, let's talk about why Taylor's lying. This isn't just about reputation, it's about legal implications. Taylor does not want to get deposed. A deposition is not a song or an album. It's under oath, and you have to tell the truth. Justin's lawyer, Brian Friedman, has already hinted that nothing is off the table. If Taylor was knee-deep in this mess, the legal fallout could be way bigger than she ever anticipated. And now, the same person who was acting as Blake's protector might just become her biggest liability, with the potential to humiliate Taylor. Taylor has carefully woven her brand as America's sweetheart, a nice girl, a victim. But let's not forget, Taylor has known for years that Blake's ballsy behavior was a ticking time bomb. Insiders say she tried to tone Blake down, but Blake wouldn't listen. Taylor admired Blake for being bold, outspoken, and unapologetically herself. That's the real reason they bonded when they first met a decade ago. But now Taylor knows it's never going to happen. Blake's never going to hold back. Right now, while they're still close, there's a subtle shift because of the "it ends with us" drama. Taylor doesn't like being dragged into it. Fast forward to today, and the Gossip Girl alum is stuck in a massive legal battle with Justin Baldoni. And guess what? Justin's not just fighting back, he's countersuing Blake and Ryan for a staggering $400 million. And yes, he's dragging Taylor into it. As much as Taylor wants to wash her hands of this mess, the truth is, she wasn't just in the room, she was actively trying to control the narrative. And now that the public's caught on, there's no hiding anymore. Blake Lively tried to play the victim, but Candace Owens flipped the script. Now Blake's scared. With Taylor backing away and lawsuits piling up, Blake and Ryan are running out of options. But here's the real question, how much worse can this get? Because right now, it's looking like the beginning of the end. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is Blake finally getting what she deserves, or will she find a way to spin this in her favor? Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because this saga is far from over. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next.